Hey guys, thanks for clicking. I really appreciate that. So today we're going to talk a little bit about the lawn business. Now, I'm talking mostly about like lawns, not necessarily landscaping. A lot of people call themselves landscapers, lawn service. We do a little bit of both, but mostly we're talking about the lawn business today, and what it's like. And is it doable? Is it easy? What are the challenges? Like those kind of things, So for me, I don't really get too personal, but today I'll talk a little bit about myself, So for me, I've had my own businesses in the past when I was younger. My wife and I owned a couple of hair salons, and so we learned a lot of do's and don'ts the hard way. But I guess, hey, they're good lessons learned. You learn what you're doing and what you shouldn't do. But as far as like being an entrepreneur, working for yourself, I mean, for me, it's the only way. It's not for everybody. If you're looking for steady strands of income, if you're looking for that paycheck every week, if you're looking like, you're a numbers person who says, hey, I can pay this mortgage or this or that, and this is it's not like that. It's really sporadic, I guess is a good word. It's there's a lot of challenges involved. So let's discuss a few of them. So let's get into, sorry, my little camera holder isn't working that well. Let's get into a few of the things like, starting a business. So how did I get started in this business? Well, I was kind of semi-retired, so to speak. I did my years in the delivery truck, and I wanted to chill out. So I started fixing equipment because I'm kind of a handy guy. I can fix a few things. I started fixing equipment, then I started fixing equipment for some other landscapers, and then I kind of acquired some old used equipment that I fixed and said, hey, I got this equipment. I got an old trailer. I got an old truck. Let me put it all together. So I started very slowly, and I eventually started to build up my business. But I mean, it took probably at least a year to get somewhat of a clientele where I was making some dollars a week. You know what I mean? Over $1,000 a week, it took about a year to get to that point. Factoring in your overhead and everything. Like, my overhead was very low to nothing. I started with a 1997 minivan that my father, God rest his soul, left to me. So I fixed, I think, everything possible on that van. I had a little Holland trailer, a 4x7 trailer that I fixed. I think I paid $200 for it 10 years ago. I had a Skag 48-inch walk-behind machine with God knows a billion hours on it that needed everything. But all of that stuff was fixed. I had a little push mower. I had a crappy blower that I got from a tag sale. I got it running. And I had 2 string trimmers that, you had 2 because hopefully one started, So that's how I started. And, it was me, myself, and I, and this used equipment. And, we made it work. So with all that being said, I got it going pretty good. And then slowly but surely I started to upgrade my equipment. And, but it takes time, and I see a lot of guys out there sometimes, man. I go in the gas station to fuel up and I see you're driving a $80,000 pickup truck. You got 3 Skags on a freaking $20,000 trailer, $18,000 to $20,000 a Skag. I mean, how many lawns do you have to cut to pay for that? I mean, you must be cutting a couple of golf courses. Otherwise, you're going to have ridiculous bills that, you're just going to overwhelm yourself. if you're young and you're full of hell and you're like, yeah, man, I'm going to do this, then hey, jump in. But expect, there's that saying, the bigger they are, the harder they fall. Well, that kind of goes for business too. The bigger your business is, the bigger your overhead is. You kind of got to ease into those things. So like, don't go head over heels in the beginning. Start out as minimal as possible, because remember, even if you buy, like, say you go get a Tractor Supply little Cub Cadet mower and you finance it, I guarantee you within a year or two you'll upgrade that machine. That'll probably be your backup machine. So it does work out, but start real slow. Go easy. Don't stress yourself out. So basically, that's what I'm talking about. Just start slow. Go easy. Keep your overhead as low as possible to minimal, where, you're talking your basic business insurance and, fuel and stuff like that, or should be your biggest expenses. And then, like I said, the business will come, go out, do the best job that you are possibly able to do, and, other people will see it, other people will talk. Trust me, people love to talk. Someone says something about grass, they're going to be like, oh, you got to use my guy. He's the best, And that's how advertisement works, Don't go crazy running ads, I had really good luck on things like Facebook. The local town groups with Facebook worked really well, because that's your local people in that town, and they're looking for stuff like that. I had a couple of basic things, like a picture of my old crappy machine and some lawn I cut, or some with some stripes on it. Look, I got a lot of calls from that, and that worked out pretty good for me. And I think I'm 4 years into this full time now, so I'm pretty well established, but let's bounce around and talk about a couple of other things. This is kind of just a general video here. So we talked about a little startup stuff and kind of how I got started and that stuff, but now let's talk about clients, because people focus always on, boom, okay, great, I got these 5 lawns. Doesn't always mean that next month you're gonna have those 5 lawns. Things happen, situations happen, people who pay you, their financial situations change. Sometimes they just can't afford you. You want to be a nice guy and be like, oh no, I understand, don't worry, pay me next month. Sometimes next month comes and they don't have the money to pay you, and then you have to make those decisions, like, well, do I keep cutting this guy's lawn if he's not going to pay, So sometimes you just got to be like, hey, no pay, no cut. And if they come through, they come through. If they don't, then you just move on to the next. Because remember, like in business, if you're being a nice guy and you're trying to help people out, you're taking away from someone who really can use your service. And it's business. It's not friendship. It's not family. This is business. You're here to make money. And trust me, you have bills and overhead like we were talking about before. Even if it's minimal, you still have to make those payments. And, ideally, in the end of the week, you want some money in your pocket, So bear in mind, things come and go, and things will fluctuate a lot. Like I started in the beginning of the video, it's not for everyone to work for themselves, So keep that in mind. And then, like I said, customers, you really have to just give them the best that you can give them, and if they pay you on time, take good care of them. And if that changes at any point in time, just remember, you go on to the next, and don't always stress out about it, because the more you do this, the more business that will come to you, and that's another thing we'll talk about. Now, I'm up in the Northeast. I'm up in Connecticut, so we have 4 seasons here. We have a lot of work that comes. That's why it's like lawn business, landscaper. There's a lot of different. We have leaf season. We have a lot of cleanups, clearing a lot of overgrown stuff. We have a lot of that kind of business, which is great extras. That really pans out for us. But depending on the area you're how far you're going in between lawns, like that's huge to your business, because even a light duty truck and a trailer and some machines, fuel is definitely one of your highest expenses, you know. So going another 4, 5, or 10 miles on a loop that you're doing lawns in one day, that's a big difference by the end of the week, because you add on, you know, 5 miles today, 5 miles, 5, 10, 15, 20, it adds up really fast. And it's also your time, you know, like how many lawns can you do in an hour? You know, I mean, we tend to do about a half hour each. You leave the shorter amount of time that you can get to. So like your circle, your area, the more you do this, the closer and smaller it gets. That's the ideal. That's the money. You start hitting 2, 3 lawns in one stop, that's the money. Because, you know, Joe's neighbor said, hey Bob, check out boom, boom, boom. And that's what it really pans out. And then you're just like, yeah, we made one stop, we did 3 lawns in an hour, and we didn't have to move the truck. That's when you start smiling at the end of the day, like, yeah, we got this, you know. But it takes time, and it doesn't always work out. Sometimes one neighbor's great and sometimes one neighbor's not, you know. We have a couple where it's like, if we lost one, we might have to lose the other one because they're farther out a little bit. So it's like we're going farther off our route, but we're doing these 2 or these 3 lawns. So got to bear in mind that things like that. And, you know, the more you do it, the more you'll see, hey, it's just not worth our time. And then also when you're thinking about the area you're going to work in, you know, you get it down to a day. Like this day we're going to go and do this area, and the next day we're going to this area, because you can't cross back and forth. Like if that one day you're going to that area, it's got to be done. Otherwise it's like, hey man, we'll see you next week. That's just the way it is. And I've definitely, in the years I've been doing this, the area has gotten smaller, and I've just simply cut out certain towns because it's like traffic. You know, ideally there's certain times of the day where you can move along pretty good. But if you find yourself like, hey, we're not going to get to that area till like 3 o'clock, well, guess what? 3 o'clock, that starts commuter time in different areas. It's just not worth it. Like you literally will be sitting in traffic, and that's just not profitable. I mean, if you're not cutting, you're not making money. So if you're sitting, that's not good. You know, you want to be sitting on that machine moving is what you know, that's how you're going to make the money. So all right, so let's just not die on that subject. Let's bounce to some other things. Okay, especially starting out and you have some equipment, and I don't care if you have new equipment or you have used equipment. Obviously some is more dependable than others, but you got to know how to fix stuff, because everything breaks. Everything breaks. New stuff breaks, old stuff breaks. I mean, I've had blades fall off a brand new machine. You get a little piece of a stick that gets stuck in a pulley, boom, there goes the belt, flies off. You know, sometimes you can put the belt back on, but you kind of have to know how to do it, and you have to know how to do it out in back of a 2-acre lawn that you're way far from your truck, you know. And so definitely maintenance is humongous. You really need to know how to fix stuff if you want to get involved in this type of business. And then you're going to start, you know, okay, what happens if my truck breaks down and I have 30 lawns that I'm obligated to cut this week? You're going to have some kind of a backup plan for that, you know. And again, you could have a brand new truck that could end up in the dealer because of some kind of thing and a part. And guess what? There's not a rental option, or you don't, or maybe so you got to have a backup plan. You got to know how to fix things. You know, it's more that your obligation goes up, the more you think. I mean, I started out, like I said earlier, with a minivan and a little trailer. I have I have 4 trucks. I have 4 trailers. I have 4 machines, just mowing machines, not to mention 100 other things. So you acquire a lot of things as you go, but you know, we have backup. If I break, I'm really screwed because I don't really have a backup plan for me. So you got to take care of yourself too. All right, so I don't want to make this video, you know, an hour long, and I'm kind of just fooling around because I don't know if you can see outside. Today's a serious weather challenge. It's not even like questionable, you know, because we do make that call on a weekly basis. Like, okay, it's raining. Do we cut or do we not cut? What kind of rain is it? Is it a wet rain? I know that sounds funny, but like today's a washout. I mean, it's just, if you ran a machine into a yard, you would do more damage than you would, you know, because face it, you have to cut wet grass. It's part of the game, and you have to learn how to clean that out of your machine and all that other nonsense, you know what I mean? But that's why I'm making the video today, because I'm like, well, I got to sit in my truck. Let's make a video. Let's talk about some things, you know? So this is kind of an experimental thing for me. So anyone who's still watching after me ramble for 5 minutes or so, I appreciate it. And you have any questions, you know, feel free, shoot. And I will let you know. Sorry, I use my phone for these videos, and sometimes you get a whole bunch of text messages that come down the phone as you're talking, and it's like, what? Anyway, like I said, any questions, let me know, and if this works out, then I'll do some more videos that aren't actually landscape videos, but more about the business and more about customers and you know, finances and things like that, you know. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. Peace. Hit that like and subscribe. Thank you.